One of the gems that I discovered in my family history was that we, as the Gosman family, Gosman, were written up in the real life Book of Negroes. Now, Lawrence Hill entered his book into a competition a number of years ago in the CBC book competition entitled Canada Reads, and it became the winning finalist book in that competition, the most important book or the best book in Canada for that particular year. And the Book of Negroes is a real book written as a ledger of free men, free because they were slaves who found their way into New England to fight for the British against the Americans who were, or America that would become America, who were fighting against the British. And John Gosman, who was a slave in the Ohio Valley, made his way over to the East Coast, fought for the British. And when George Washington, the first president of the United States, was taking claim of the area and territory occupied by exiting British troops, he wanted to claim free men, British citizens, who were slaves, as property. And his counterpart said, no, these are free persons. And my relative, John Gosman, was one of those freed persons, a British citizen, a British black loyalist. And to prove their citizenship to the British Crown, George Washington's counterpart, the general, wrote up a ledger of free men, British citizens, and John Gosman was one of those names. It listed his wife, it listed his daughter, and it listed himself and where he had come from, and even the name of his slave owner. John, his wife, and their daughter were one of the last boats to leave New York Harbor. And they landed in Nova Scotia, specifically in Shelburne, Nova Scotia, Birchtown. What's interesting is in 1783, when they arrived, John Gosman was given the job to work on a farm as a laborer, and he was starving to death. Of course, the British had promised free land, and when he arrived, he had nothing. He was given nothing in this new land of freedom. And the struggle led him to slay an ox. And John hid the meat that was left for his family, and it was getting cold. You needed sustenance, and the land that he was given was certainly not something that he could provide for his family. And so, forced into this situation, he killed that which was not his own. And this is documented because he walked into the Shelburne courthouse and he gave a voluntary confession that he had taken something that did not belong to him. And he went to trial. And John Gosman was exonerated of his crime because of extreme hardship and because he had confessed his crime, and the court realized that that which was meant to be his as a black loyalist was not provided to him, and he was exonerated. And that was discovered in the Birchtown Black Loyalist Museum back a number of years ago. We discovered this because my sister is a well-known opera singer, Misha Brugger Gosman, and they did a documentary on CBC entitled Who Do You Think You Are?, where prominent Canadians and their ancestry is traced professionally through genealogists, and they discovered this wonderful history, tracing our family back to British New England, to a harbor, to the Manifest, to the Book of Negroes. So we are grateful, Mr. Hill, thank you, Lawrence Hill, for helping us discover our history.